Hi everyone, it's Lou Manfredini, Ace's home expert. Today we're going to talk a little bit about palm sanders. It's a terrific finishing tool for any kind of woodworking project. You can really use it on a myriad of materials depending on the type of sandpaper that you choose. These are really meant for fine sanding, for working on materials that you want to really get a nice finish. There's a couple ways to go here. This is what's called a palm sander that's a quarter sheet. And so you'll see right here this little square edge and these pins right here that allow you to take a quarter sheet of regular sandpaper that you would cut with a pair of scissors or utility knife, something like this right here. And out of a single sheet of sandpaper like this, you could get 4 pieces to use on a palm sander like this. Essentially vibrates and oscillates in your hand and just kind of moves back and forth. Now these random orbit sanders, really kind of one of my favorites, use a disc sander like this with a hook and loop on the back end. And there's holes in here to help with dust control. And there's a dust collector that goes on the back of this one. You'll see this cordless one has a little dust collector. It does a pretty good job. It doesn't do a great job of collecting the dust, but it will help to eliminate some of that dust. Now again, there's all kinds of different hook and loop sanding discs that you can use. This is a 5-inch diameter sanding disc, and it has holes that correspond in there. So when you go to place it on the bottom of the tool, you'll see that those holes are there so that they kind of line up, and you want to make sure that the holes line up with some of the holes to help with the dust collection. Now, if you're going to do a lot of sanding, like with any tools, I'm a fan of corded because you can just sand and sand and sand. And you want to also make sure that you're using glasses, safety glasses, when you're using this. Now, the manufacturers don't like when I do this, but these tools, because they're kind of detail oriented, if I were to hold this with my hand and turn it on, it wouldn't hurt me because it won't spin, and that vibration really won't do that. Now, I don't suggest that you do that, but my point in showing you that is that I don't want you to be scared using this. Now this is a piece of pine right here. You go ahead and you start this tool, and you're gonna see, it's gonna be a little noisy, might be hard to hear me, but this is gonna spin a little bit, and it's also gonna vibrate. That's that random orbit action that I'm talking about. When you're using a tool like this, what you want to try and avoid is putting too much pressure, because if you put a lot of pressure on top of the tool, that kind of spinning motion will be eliminated and you won't get the kind of performance out of the sandpaper. So allow the weight of the tool and a little bit on your hand to work back and forth, back and forth. So if you're doing any kind of fine sanding when it comes to woodworking, one of these small palm sanders is the way to go. And if there are other tools that you'd like us to talk about, just put a note at the bottom of this video.